we are on the verge, and these people are lining up, like this person I interviewed, lining up in droves. I heard some neighbors talking about how they'd gotten the vaccine and how they were so happy to go get the second one. I mean, no idea whatsoever there's a threat. And we living this now. This is a life-death thing, for us and our children. Okay, Jen.
Well, speaking to the issue of the vaccines and the masks, because it can't be overstated about these things. I know some people are sick of hearing about the masks, but I try to encourage people, no, we have to continue these conversations, because this is by far the biggest psyop that's been, perpetrated on humanity. And, I have been anti-mask the whole time. And for me to stand as a nurse almost a year plus without wearing a mask, can you imagine? When I was in New York, I resisted. And one of the things I told people is that it's an energetic frequency. It really is. I said, I do not consent. And I would just put that out in the atmosphere. And like you ladies are saying, everything is about, like what I'm hearing, it's about this oneness, consciousness. If we all come on board with this pro-life, I'll say, pro-truth, pro-health and wellness and sovereignty, because this is all grounded in sovereignty. And to govern someone is to govern your ment, your mind. And if we give consent over to be governed by anybody, it could be a group of any kind of tyrant and fiefdoms, you know what I'm saying? Is that once we go inside, because the only way out is in, and when we decide that we are sovereign, that takes courage to say I'm sovereign, because most people would love to have a nanny, whether they want to admit it or not. You want an assistant, right? Everybody would love a wife, right? Somebody just make it easier, mommy. So when you take the bold stand of sovereignty, that means you're responsible for your health. And when you think about it, I can't get away from the health and wellness aspect to any of this, because it's your body. And if you have agency over your body, you do not give agency to another person. And so if you live and you vibrate on that type of energy, I believe it keeps you away from these sort of, they're not even human to me. When I look at people right now, I'm not sensing a soul. And, they go along with the mask and they love the mask. I've seen every type of mask you can imagine. I didn't know that people would slide into a love to, broadcast that they are compliant. I didn't think I'd see this in people. So I've had to adjust my expectations of humanity, because like you're saying, Charnel, oh, they're smart people. Yes, they are smart people. They're degreed, they're, diploma, certified. They're all these kind of whatever after your name. And it doesn't mean that the intelligence is the kind of quantum intelligence, the emotional intelligence, because half of these people, if they didn't have a television, they wouldn't know that there was a pandemic, would they? They wouldn't know that you had to wear a mask. They wouldn't know to fear if they didn't have this device that's telling them to fear. So it's grounded in these energies of fear and love, the polarity. So I see this whole mask thing. This is, to me, and I've told people, I try to encourage them, this is the simplest thing we can do. And we are not going to have a savior come down and say, the mask days are over. We're not getting a person that can do that, because think about it. Who has the authority to do that? We have authority individually. So if we combine in this oneness collective of saying, no, we're not participating, we do not give our consent to this, that's how this will stop. But I've tried to stop people from doing it. I've tried to encourage them. Back in September, they had a let's burn our mask thing. I put a video of me burning a mask. I didn't get much, it just like fizzled out. People are not ready. And when I go out to the supermarket, I walk in. Nobody says anything to me. So I'm thinking, if you're living in one of these more red states, why am I seeing so many masks? You can walk in, they won't challenge you. So it shows me that people are not willing to take agency of their body. That's the whole thing, because that's why people are screaming for things like universal health. When I'm over here screaming, everybody grow your own farm. Use your food as your medicine. How about that? You don't have a doctor. I personally don't have a doctor. I'm 55 years old. I'm a Black woman, they say, and I don't take any pharmaceuticals. Do you know, when I interface with anyone in the medical profession, they are offended at me that I'm saying I'm not on pharmaceuticals. They're like, you're not on blood pressure medicines? You're not on this? Not a diabetic. It's like, so like I'm a unicorn, okay, in other words. That should have never become commonplace, okay? We agreed to this. We gave consent to this madness. And in terms of even just moving forward, I see this as we take our power back individually. We go out encouraged and we say no. I don't consent. And after a while, I mean, I'm willing to live with the consequences. I'll just say that. But the way I'm vibrating, I don't even envision consequences, because I'm living in truth and beauty and in the light. And I don't see, like, they don't vibrate where I'm vibrating. So how are they going to affect me? So in a sense, that's where I am on the mask and the vaccine thing. I want to share with you, sisters, that I get so many recruiters coming at me. As you can imagine, I've been a nurse for over 30 years. So lately, this is the new thing. Check this out. A vaccine nurse. They are, oh yeah, they're trying to get nurses to work at vaccine clinics. Did you all know this? So they're trying to give lots of money. Come and work at this vaccine clinic. And my thing is, I'm just gonna say this. I have never given a vaccine in my 30 plus years of nursing. I never wanted to do that to anyone. For some reason, I always had a call that I knew these were bad. My grandmother got polio from the polio salt tablet. So I knew what it did to her health. She was a vibrant woman and her health was demolished. So I never vibrated with the whole vaccine thing. So I've never given them. I've always found a way. Like when patients are admitted, they always want you to go down this assessment. Are you going to take the pneumonia thing? Are you going to take the flu shot? Are you going to take this shot? And then when I ask the people, I say, you can say no. And they go, oh, okay, no, I don't want it. So I had found a way never to give them. So, nurses have to stand up, and other professions that, like we were flying and, we saw all the tyrants, the little mini tyrants that work in the airline industry, many tyrants that work in travel and tourism. These people have to stand up and know that they can say no, lose your job. I mean, what, you're going to just sit here and violate people for a job? So some people know that they're doing wrong. They have to stop it. I'm not nursing anymore because I can't go along with the lies. I can't do it. And guess what? The universe, God, finds another way to sustain you. But you have to believe, you have to consent. And that's my bottom line.
Yeah, that's very beautiful.